Big round of applause to Suniel Shetty, who's come to the Bangalore Tech Summit to talk to us.
Thank you, and do support me because I'm nervous out here with all the unicorns, 10x, 5x, 25x is there. I'm really, really nervous, and after Sujit, Nikhil and all have spoken, I'm even more nervous than before. Sharat, that's not fair.
Suniel, one thing all of us, everyone in this room, will agree to and will vouch for, that one man who has continued to be relevant for the last 30 years and who made us dance to hi hooky, hi hookah, hi hookah, hi, to today when we say that this here is a fit man, here is a strong man, here is an Indian man whom we all can look up to and see it is you. Today I want to ask on behalf of all of us, हम जैसे जैसे progress होते हैं, we all start becoming very, we start getting very nervous about becoming irrelevant or becoming unfit or feeling like a failure. And most of us, at some point or the other, go through a self-worth question. I want to ask you, because you are someone we all can look up to, how have you managed to be relevant? How have you managed to be fit? And how have you managed to become such an icon for the youngest people here in our country?
Well, thank you so very much for that. But I think the only thing I've survived all these years is purely because of my upbringing and my background. I was born in this small little town called Mulki, Bangalore. That has been a part of Durga Ma's most powerful temple, the Bapanath temple. Anybody who went out from there has been blessed, and I'm one of them. Humble beginnings, struggle. My father, my hero, a boy who from Bangalore, came to Mumbai at the age of 9, cleansed tables to make a living, had to take 4 rounds of a table to completely clean the table. The rice gunny bag was his bed sheet as well as his bedding. These are the stories that I grew up listening to, and he was my ultimate hero. The very restaurants that he worked in, he ended up owning these restaurants. And I believe that was the journey that I wanted to follow. But God was kind. He gave me, the limelight in the form of movies. He gave me my first break. Someone who hadn't ever gone to an acting school was suddenly a part of a big film. The film was a big hit. But the critics called me wooden. They said I should go back to the restaurants. I should go back to making idli and dosas. And that hurt. That really, really hurt. When I stepped back and believed that, I need to get back at this guy, I analyzed that, I hadn't mastered my craft. I hadn't studied, the art of acting. And God had given me the opportunity. So should I be thankful or should I be spiteful? That's when it dawned upon me that, let me learn my craft and be thankful for what I've got. And that's the time I realized that this was my goal and this is where I've already reached without even doing anything. So I think being thankful for what I got is what got me through the worst periods in my life, whether it was failure, and especially when you fail in the film industry. The world is watching you, the media is watching you. They want to harp on the fact that your last film didn't do well or that you're not doing well, because that is what sells. The good side of Suniel Shetty doesn't sell. Whether you're involved with CSR or you're doing good for someone, that doesn't work. But if Suniel Shetty gets into a controversy, it works brilliantly for TRPs. So it hurt. I think that's the time, that's when I realized that, God's been kind, let's be thankful for everything, and I went about my journey with that, and that got me through everything. I was an avid sportsman. The only thing I ever wanted to do was play for my country, which I couldn't do. But then God said, you've got to entertain the country. And that kind of balanced me, helped me in a great mental space. And I guess that's why I'm content, I'm happy with where I am.
Suniel, I want to ask you, and I'm going to take an analogy because here we are in Bangalore, and a lot of very amazing entrepreneurs, unicorns, funding, startups, and I want to here draw a parallel that there's always this sense of judgment which comes when you're able to raise a big round, big valuation. But again, the same entrepreneurs and same people are very much questioned if they're not able to. And and of course then there are the other set of entrepreneurs who are not able to raise funding, and they consider that, oh, you've not been able to make success or whatever you're doing. So there's a lot of judgment that goes on, very not obviously called, but as entrepreneurs we are constantly being measured, constantly being evaluated, and everyone has a point of view. Now I'll come to you. You've lived in an industry which I feel from outside extremely competitive, looks very insecure, but somewhere you stand out because you stood as an original. And there were a lot of judgments that came to you. In fact, like you said, wooden, can't dance. There was always this thing of writing you off. But here you are standing with a massive following on social media, and you've gone viral on LinkedIn and everything. How have you been able to maintain your inner sense of equanimity, inner sense of purpose, and inner sense of direction, especially when everyone is like looking at you with judgment?
See, I think honesty, I've been very, very, very honest with my profession. I love what I do. I thank God every day for giving me that opportunity. And I've learned to step back, I've learned to listen, I've learned to learn. Because if I don't listen, then there are things that I believe that I know, and if I'm not listening, then I'm not improving upon those things. So I've learned to listen. Like I said, I'm very, very content. Yes, I know what my destination is, but at the same time I need to make sure that I clear that path toward the destination. I see that destination clear. I need to work towards it. I excelled in action. So when they wrote me off at Wooden, when I went back home and said, you know what, yes, I'm not a very good actor. So what he said wasn't wrong. So why that spite? Let me improve upon something. So what I did in turn was that if I don't start acting, I'll be thrown out very soon. So how do I grab more work and good work? I said every actor to survive needs an image. And the only image that suited me was an action hero, because I was a trained martial artist. I had a phenomenal body. I worked more on that body. I did death-defying stunts. So when the audience saw me, they said, this guy is crazy. My parents didn't know what I was doing. My wife didn't know that I was doing death-defying stunts every second day. But then everybody said, ye ladka pagal hai yaar. And they aspired to be and do action like you do. And the minute kids believe that we want to aspire to be like a particular person, you have an audience of your own. And during that time, I slowly learned the craft of acting. I started focusing on my diction. I came from a South Indian family. We didn't speak Hindi at home. So I started working on my diction. I improved my dancing. You dance to Hai Huku, but I couldn't dance to Hai Huku. I believed I was horrible in that song because I was a very bad dancer, probably the only actor with 2 left feet. But Suniel Shetty had the best music because I had the sense for music. But I didn't have the rhythm. I had the rhythm to do action with 10 people without blinking an eyelid. I never rehearsed when I did action. But when it came to music and beat, my heartbeat was rather faster than the beat of the music, so I always skipped the beat. So it's about being comfortable and accepting your faults. And it's like in the startup world, everybody knows their destination, but do they know their path? It's very easy to raise money, but it's very difficult to make money. So for a young entrepreneur, he has to believe that he has to make money to rise in life. That's why MSME, small scale, large, medium scale industries, is the method that you have to follow. You have to follow what your forefathers and your fathers taught you about cash being king, and working towards that. And you won't see, you will probably live up to your own expectations. And forget the world, they keep talking, that's what they need to do. They need to look in, and especially in the world of social media, with Twitter being as bitter it is, and a platform out without any a social handle that doesn't even carry their own name. So I think we have to learn to be content, learn to sit back and see where we need to improve, and things take care of itself.
Everyone, I don't know if I can say for everyone, but one has to, now that you're sitting next to me, I have to ask you this question. Most of us in this room will have an excuse to, we all are very hardworking people. We are all trying to chase things and make things happen, but most of us are not very fit people. At 62, and ladies and gentlemen, I think he deserves a big round of applause at 62.
Thank you.
I think you're redefine, we say, oh, we are a young country, and ageism. जैसे होता है पहले जितेंद्र used to come in and add, you remember 30 plus, and we used to think, oh, 30 plus is too much, and then 40 plus, and वो तो चलो uncle auntie हो गया, वो गायब हो गया. Today, if it is cool, it is sexy, it is mainstream, it is a way of life. I think for India, you're showing the way. Tell me, how do you make that happen, and why don't you have any excuse?